River Lightbearer, your friendly neighborhood non-binary compassionate catalyst here. When I looked at my editorial calendar, because I have an editorial calendar so I know what I want to create for content. And when I looked at it for today, it said, talk about looking ahead to 2022. And I thought about that for a few minutes. And I said, but I don't know what's going to happen in 2022, and I'm not sure what I want to have happen in 2022. This is the time of year when everybody, okay, not everybody, but a lot of people decide that they're going to set their goals and their plans for the upcoming year. And it's the time of year that business coaches and life coaches and such say, plan your upcoming year, decide what you want to have happen, set your intentions. This is a hard time of year for some of us to do that, though. I live with depression and PTSD year round. Like, those are part of my brain, they are an intrinsic part, they're not going away. But at this time of year, those conditions are exacerbated. Um, you know, I'm in the northern hemisphere. There's a lot less daylight at this time of year, and that affects my mental health. And some of my PTSD is caused by traumatic incidents that occurred at the holidays many times, not just once. And I'm smiling and sounding humorous as I say this because that's kind of my defense mechanism when I talk about some of this stuff. So I'm not making light of depression, mine or anyone else's. I'm not making light of PTSD or trauma. It's how I talk about my own experiences so that I can stay coherent, because if I don't kind of chuckle about it, I cry. And yeah, so I just wanted to clarify that. But so this is a tough time of year for me, and it's a time of year when sometimes I have trouble even wanting to find out what the future holds, let alone trying to plan it. So I am making some plans and goals for 2022 because it's the time of year to do that. But I'm also giving myself the grace and compassion to say, hey, you know what? I don't know if this is what I want. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do these things or if I want to do these things. And it's okay not to want to deal with goal setting and intention setting at this time of year. Even though this seems to be the most popular time of year for it, it's okay not to if it is overwhelming for you or if it doesn't feel like something you want to do. It's okay not to do it. It's okay to say, you know what? I'm going to set my goals in June at midsummer, at midsummer. I'm going to set my goals in March at the vernal equinox. It's okay to find a different time of year to do your goal setting and intention setting. You don't have to be glued to the traditional calendar that we follow. You don't have to plan things based on an artificial thing. And the calendar is artificial. Like, the calendar that we follow is based on natural cycles, but the months and the days and all of that's a man-made creation, a human-made creation, and we don't have to stick to it. Just because a lot of people choose this time of year to set goals and intentions for the next calendar year. And just because that's a common piece of advice from coaches and other practitioners doesn't mean you have to do it that way. So I am setting goals and intentions for 2022, but I'm also acknowledging that those are going to change, because some of them I'm setting because I am, quote unquote, supposed to at this time of year. Whatever you do in your life, your healing journey, parenting if you're a parent, relationships, and I'm using the broad version of relationships to include family, friends, not just romantic relationships, work if you have a job or if you work for yourself. Whatever you do in your life, it is okay to alter how you do it so that it works for you. It's okay to listen to other people's advice and suggestions and assess them for whether they're actually useful and valid for you. Saying this doesn't work for me, that's not useful to me, doesn't mean that it's not useful in general. It just means that we each have the right to determine how to construct our lives in a way that is healthy and beneficial to us. For me, that means giving myself some idea of what I would like to do in 2022, but also giving myself the freedom to say, okay, so this is what I'm hoping to do, and it may not work out that way, and I will revisit this in a couple of months when there's more daylight and the holidays are over and I can think more clearly. I hope that wherever you are and whatever is going on in your life at this time, you're giving yourself that time and space to figure out what works for you. You're giving yourself the time and space to acknowledge that maybe not having enough daylight is a problem for you. You're giving yourself the space to say, you know what, the way we've always done holidays is painful to me and I'm not going to do it that way anymore. Just because something has always happened that way doesn't mean it always has to happen that way. You have the right to prioritize your health and well-being, physical and mental. And I hope that you're giving yourself the opportunities to do that. So that's all I've got to say right now. For those who celebrate any holiday at this time of year, happy holidays. Happy return to the light for those in the northern hemisphere. Happy easing into the time of rest for those in the southern hemisphere. And I'll be back next year. Wow, the next video I do will be for January 2022. Meanwhile, take care.